Kent State women's basketball took down the Akron Zips at home on Saturday. We tell you how it happened and what player had a career day inside the MAC Center.
Two of the biggest brands in the NBA squared off at the world's most famous arena. It's LeBron and the Lakers against Brunson and the Knicks on Saturday night.
And it just means more in the SEC. That was the case, at least, when Auburn and Ole Miss hit the hardwood. All of this and more coming up on the season premiere of Sportscorner, and it starts right now.
Hall Studio on the campus of Kent State University. This is Sports Corner. Alongside Liv Sharp, I'm Matt Corelli, and before you ask, no, we did not plan this.
No.
Well, anyway, Liv, Kent State Gymnastics, they were back at the MAC Center on Sunday for the second week in a row.
They were. They welcomed in Western Michigan, and it ended up being an impressive showing from both teams. Let's get into it. The Kent State Gymnastics team faced off against Western Michigan on Sunday. The Flashers ended the dual meet with a score of 195.275 after winning 3 out of the 4 events. Charlie Boehner led the Flashes on vault, scoring a 9.85. Alyssa Guns and Heidi Schultz tied for first on the beam, allowing the Flashes to overcome the point deficit caused by their loss on the bars. The Flashes secured their win on the floor with a near-perfect routine from Alyssa Guns, who earned a 9.9. This meet allowed the team to improve their record to 5-0 on the season.
The Kent State women's golf team opened their spring season in the Puerto Rico Classic on Sunday. The Flashes ended the day with a 17 over par to end the first round of play. Currently, the team is tied for 15th place out of the 18 teams participating. Gracie Larson carried Kent State in round 1. The freshman finished with a 1 over par and is tied for 28th place out of the field of 100 players. Kent State will continue play in the Puerto Rico Classic today.
On Friday night, the Flashes faced off against their rivals, the Akron Zips. The Zips took an early 9-5 lead. By the half, Akron was ahead of the Flashes 48-31. Kent's Jalen Solinger dropped his 61st career double-digit game, leading the Flashes with 23 points. And Anthony Morales marked his 4th double-digit game, scoring 10. However, that was not enough for the Flashes to pull through at the end. They fell to the Zips 85-71. The Flashes come back to face off against Eastern Michigan tomorrow. Tip-off is at 6:30.
On the women's side, the Golden Flashes also welcomed in Akron, but Kent State came out the victor by the final score of 73-51. Jenna Batch led all scorers with 25 points, as she has scored 20-plus in back-to-back games for the first time in her 4-year career at Kent State. The Golden Flashes are back in action Wednesday night against NIU with tip-off set for 7 o'clock. Well, with 3 matches left in the season, Kent State Wrestling is 1-12 and winless in conference play. So to break down the season is our own Jordan Hiles. Welcome, Jordan.
What's up, guys? Like you said, Kent State's wrestling team has had a tough season so far.
Well, it's a struggling program. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for them?
Well, Kent State's lone win came from Gannon University, a Division II program, which was expected. However, when facing Division I competition, the team has struggled to execute consistently. Wrestling is an individual sport where wins and losses impact the athlete's record. But ultimately, success at the team level depends on securing victories across multiple weight classes.
And speaking of those weight classes, what do you think have been Kent State's most successful this season? Do you think any of them can place in the MAC tournament?
Kent State's most consistent performers this season have been Jordan Decatur at 141, Billy Meisner at 149, Carson Miller at 165, Blake Schaefer at 197, and Brent Zimmerman at the heavyweight division. All of them have a solid chance at reaching the podium at the MAC tournament, but among all of them, Schaefer stands on the top. He is ranked 1st overall, and he has an undefeated record in the MAC. He is the highest to win the MAC championship, and he could even go to the NCAA championships.
Wow.
Well, the season isn't over quite yet. You guys have 3 more matches. What is the main focus to build momentum for the rest of the season?
It all comes down to execution. Kent State has the tools, they have the talent, but now it's about putting everything together when it matters the most. Maintaining intensity for a full 7 minutes will be key. If they can clean up minor mistakes and execute at the higher level, they'll build momentum leading into the MAC tournament and put themselves in the position to make some noise on the podium.
So with the team having a 1-12 record at this point, obviously you're kind of looking towards the future. So what do you think success is going to look like for that program in the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, Kent is only graduating 2 seniors, so the next 2 to 3 years is going to be built on growth and development. The Flashes has a young roster made up of just freshmen and sophomores. These wrestlers gain more experience in competing at the high level, then they'll have the expectations to continue and maybe have some more competitiveness within the MAC.
Now, it sounds like they've got a good stacked roster. What's preventing Kent from being one of those top teams?
I think it all comes down to coaching. Do I think Coach Andrazy recruits the right guys and pushes them in the wrestling room? Yes. But where I think he lacks is translating that into competition. Wrestling has developed a lot throughout the years, and the style of it has changed a ton. When we go into matches versus nationally ranked teams, they throw moves that our guys just don't know how to defend, and we lack technique. Coach Andrazy hasn't had a winning season since 2017. To change that, in my opinion, we need to break away from the old school style of wrestling and bring in a new, fresh perspective.
So with 3 more duels left in the season, Jordan, how do you think Kent State is going to fare in those matches?
Kent State has a tough road ahead. Up next, they head to Ohio University, and they're ranked #1 in the MAC, and they have 2 nationally ranked wrestlers. Then they'll head to Central Michigan, and they have an overall record of 2-1, and their only loss comes to Ohio. And they have 4 nationally ranked guys. And then Kent's road ends at Cleveland State, and they have a record of 2-3.
Well, Jordan, season's not over yet, but the future does seem bright. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
With the All-Star break around the corner, the NBA saw some incredible matchups this past weekend. We'll tell you how it all went down around the association.
We know you work hard, so come spend your lunch with us at the Bistro on Main. We've been serving the community for 3 generations, only a quick 10-minute drive from Kent State's campus. Make your breaks count at the Bistro on Main, where friends become family.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more.
So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child.
So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall.
And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life.
People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Welcome back. It was a big-time game out in the Mecca as the Lakers and Knicks squared off. Let's go to the highlights. Well, this was the game before everything got real interesting, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's get into the highlights. Lakers on offense. Jackson Hayes with a rock. He flips it into LeBron, who gets it up and in for the bucket. Braun outside the arc with a little skip pass to Rui Hachimura, who drains a 3. LeBron looks for a lane, can't find it, so he'll just roll around and hit the pull-up jumper. Lakers now up by 7. Time ticking down to the first. OG Anunoby finds the lane, drives, and scores, and it is a tie game. We fast forward all the way to the third. Josh Hart pitches it to Precious Achiuwa, and he gets the push shot to fall. Now, this is going to be all Lakers the rest from here. LeBron stops at the top of the key. That is nothing but money, baby. And Miles McBride, he had a solid night. He's going to get the ball, tries the triple, and gets the foul. He had a chance for the 4-point play, and he did execute. 4 seconds in the third, Hart half-court heave, and he makes it. What a shot. It was cool, but I mean, it was no match For the Lake Show, LeBron finished with 33. There's another triple from him. It was a 126-110 victory over the Lakers. Now imagine them with Luka Doncic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sports Corner Monday. My name's Evan Schofield, here to take you through the latest on the courts. We take you to Rocket Mortgage, where the Cavs hold a 12-7 lead. Donovan Mitchell shovels the ball. That's an easy three from Darius Garland, leading 8. Still in the first, Mitchell runs past the man, hits the layup. 2 of 12 total points on the night for him. First coming to a close here, Mitchell hits a few moves. That's a beautiful three. Poetry in motion. 31 now the differential. Cavs with a strong lead. Evan Mobley with the ball. Is he going to pass? No, that's a Dunkarooskie. Cavs lead 34. With no Luka Doncic to help, Cavs going to move quick down the court. Garland passes to Jared Allen. Too easy for Allen. Cavs run away with this one. Back to Evan Mobley. No one to stop him. He hits a three. 4 adds another 3 to his 22-point night. In the third now, Caris LeVert passes to Tristan Thompson. Is it the NFL? That's an end around to Sam Merrill. Impressive from the Cavs. With a 50-point differential, it's right back to Merrill, and my goodness, yet another beautiful three. Is it Groundhog Day? Because Merrill needs 2 more three-pointers for the franchise record in the game. That's 1 bucket. Storybook moment. He gets it. That is history. Cavs walk away with the record and win 144-101.
Keeping things in the East, big matchup on Sunday, Celtics and Sixers. That's Jason Tatum. He's averaging 27 a contest. First quarter, Sixers up 2. Tyrese Maxey, nice handles, tough layup, and the foul. He'll make the free throw. Next Sixers position, Maxey will do it from a long distance to put his team up 8. Later in the quarter, Celtics with the ball. Derek White kicks it out to Kristaps Porzingis from downtown. 29-21 Sixers through 1. And now the Sixers are up bigger, and Maxey will drain another 3. 34 for Tyrese, Philly up as much as 26 at home. In the third, this is going to be Gershon Yabusele with the ferocious jam. And later in the third, Yabusele says, Derek White, you are my new wallpaper. 21 points for the Philly big man. Let's go to the fourth. 11-point Sixer lead. Jason Tatum knocks down the 3. It's an 8-point game. Later on, Tatum again. He's catching fire. And the next time down the floor, Tatum, the shake, the bake, the step back, and the make. Celtics lead. Less than a minute to go. Derek White kicks it out and says, I want the truth! Holiday from downtown. Celtics win it 118-110. A comeback effort. Jason Tatum, 35 points on 13 of 20 shooting from the floor. So, Evan, when you look at the status of the league as it stands right now, with all this momentum leading into the All-Star break, who do you think is that team that is your favorite to win the finals this summer?
Well, Matt, I just had to highlight the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have been on a hot streak, and they have been nothing short of exceptional. They lost 3 straight games, right? They came back. They fought. They won 4 in a row. They've had the most efficient offense since the ABA-NBA merger in 1976, guys. Insane. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, perfect duo. The salt and pepper, whatever you want to call it. They've been on fire. Only 2 points apart in average points per game. I think they're going to end first in their division. Easy. They've only lost, 9?
Yeah, 9 games.
And look, they have a real shot to get in the playoffs, and I don't think that's out of the picture at all.
Well, we'll talk a little bit of MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now is the favorite to win it, but does another name come to mind for you?
Liv, not at all. No. I thought earlier in the season, Jokic, I thought he could come away with it, but he's been averaging 32 points per game. And at this point in the season, that's nothing, it's impressive. It's simply impressive. And he's been the leading charge for the Thunder. And without him, it's pretty hard to imagine their record is as good as it is right now as we stand in this season. And I think Jokic, obviously, he had a chance to catch up, but it's hard to deny how consistent Shai has been. Just flawlessly inconsistent. And he is the team. He's going to continue to make his team competitive down the stretch. And,
So, I don't know if you at home heard.
Yes.
There was a trade over the weekend that happened.
Yes.
Evan, your reaction to probably one of the biggest trades in the history of the league.
I mean, wow. It was absolutely why? What was their GM thinking?
He wasn't.
He wasn't. You got to question the Mavs' thought process.
Maybe it's a joke.
They wanted Anthony Davis. Okay, they wanted to build the franchise around him. But you get rid of your 25-year-old best player on the team.
Yeah.
The Mavs GM, I saw something that he noted a culture change. Maybe meeting like an older guy that's maybe in his prime. AD, let's win him a championship, whatever. Clearly the Mavs' time is now to win. AD's 32, Kyrie Irving is 33, and as far as the Lakers, LeBron James is getting a stud in a teammate. I mean, Doncic is only 25. He's only getting better. He's going to continue to excel in the league. And look, he's a driving force, and I think maybe not this year, but in the future they can help win a championship.
Lakers are 5th in the West, and this move could definitely help them skyrocket across the Western Conference standings. Thanks, Evan. We appreciate it.
Well, in addition to that Luka trade, there were some other unreal trades that went down this past weekend.
Yeah, and here to break it all down for us is our own Eli Washington. Eli, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. We had an all-time weekend this weekend in the NBA with not just one, but two blockbuster trades happening on Sunday, with the Mavs and the Lakers leading the way. Now, in this deal, the Los Angeles Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris, all while the Mavericks received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. Now, Utah was involved, too, with them getting Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks. Now, my opinion, which is everybody else's opinion, this is the biggest trade in NBA history. And this also may be a lukewarm opinion, but I do think both teams won the trade. Sounds crazy, but I really think so. And this is why. I really think that they won the trade because you get a two-way superstar in Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis literally is one of the top 10 players in the league. Now, I understand he's not on Luka Doncic's level, but on any given night, he can go toe-to-toe with some of the best superstars in the league. And when he doesn't have it offensively, you know you're still going to have him engaged on the defensive side, and he just causes absolute chaos on that side of the ball. He makes teams shift their entire game plan. In my opinion, that's a generational attribute right there. And this year, he's having an all-NBA caliber season, and now that he's in Dallas, I think his output is going to be even better. Now, people have yet to talk about how he has two bigs in Gafford and Lively that'll allow him to slot right back to the 4th spot, a spot in which he's been comfortable, which he's wanted, and the spot where he won a championship. Now he's had all his success there, and the roster construction Dallas has defensively is actually similar to that 2020 Lakers team. They have pesky perimeter defenders, and they have length on the backside of the defense. And I haven't even mentioned that they landed Max Christie in that deal as well. He's a 20-year-old that's having a breakout on both sides of the ball, and opposing teams are going to struggle getting to the rim against this defense. Now, I do believe defense wins championships, even though the offense has shifted to an extra level lately in the NBA. But I do think Dallas is the most well-rounded team in the Western Conference. They may not be the most talented, but I think they do have a shot because they still have Kyrie Irving, and then they have a sharpshooter in Klay Thompson. So I'm excited to see what they can accomplish in the second half of the season. And come playoff time, I know I would not want to face them. It will cause so many nightmares. Now, the Lakers on the other side, they've done it again. They found a way to transition into another generational superstar in Luka Doncic. They've gone from Wilt to Magic. I didn't even mention Jerry West, Shaq, Kobe, countless names. Now, the Lakers, they opened up their championship window even further past this point. Now, I think they have a chance for at least the next decade to win multiple championships with Luka Doncic. And they don't have to worry about rebuilding anytime soon. The only building they'll have to do is around the 25-year-old superstar who already has made 5 All-NBA first teams at 25 years old. That's insane. He's coming off his first finals appearance as well. Now, in terms of winning, they have an absolute shot in the dark to win this year. Now, they don't have the necessary pieces that can surround Luka and LeBron exactly, but they do have enough. They have Luka and LeBron. Now, Luka by himself is great enough to push a team into a deep playoff run. But when you add the GOAT, in my opinion, he's pressing full throttle at 40 years old. And on top of that, they do have wing defenders in Dorian Finney-Smith and Jared Vanderbilt, but they lack front court defense at the center position. And then with the subtraction of Anthony Davis and Max Christie, they do need another guard defender as well. But regardless of what they don't have, like I said, they have LeBron and Luka. Both players are ball dominant, but the difference is LeBron can move without the ball because he's a fatal cutter and he's been able to become a knockdown shooter. And then I haven't even mentioned Austin Reeves. And he's known for morphing into roles based on what the team needs. He can play off ball, he can play on the ball. Now, the chemistry that those three will have, especially out of pick and rolls, is going to be contagious for the rest of the team. And J.J. Redick will be able to scheme everybody into the right spots. They have two 6'9" offensive shapeshifters that will make defenses choose who will beat them. But I don't believe this is also the final version of this team. They still have players on valuable contracts that they can move to get better as well. And they have a 2027 first-round pick. I'd expect them to be buyers on the trade market this deadline and get another deal done. Now, in other news, there was a Spurs, Kings, and Bulls deal that sent De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs and Zach LaVine to the Sacramento Kings. There were other pieces involved, but those were the headlines. And Chicago was involved on the trade as well, but they didn't really do much. The San Antonio Spurs absolutely crushed this deal, and De'Aaron Fox bolsters their backcourt. Now, Wemby is able to get a downhill guard that's still able to spread the floor, and he'll get even easier baskets. Their group is a solid mix of both youth and veteran leadership, and the team is full of smart guys. They'll also be able to switch up their style of offense when the bench comes in, just because Chris Paul, I would assume, will lead the bench group. Their offense will get a big boost, obviously, but their defense will as well. Now, De'Aaron Fox isn't known for being a defender, but if you pair him next to Stephon Castle, they have a pretty athletic and a pretty large backcourt. So everybody will be allowed to slide into their natural positions. Then on the other side, the Kings got some great value in return after trading Fox for Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine is a really good player, and he'll be able to complement Sabonis very well, especially when it comes to dribble handoff schemes, and Sabonis' numbers will probably be right back up there where they were. Now, he'll also be part of one half of an explosive backcourt with Malik Monk at the point guard position. Malik has shown he can be a table setter on the offense, so playmaking won't be a huge concern. Now, they lost Fox, but Malik Monk, I believe he can make up for that. My only offensive issues I have involves DeMar DeRozan. Now, I don't know where he's going to fit into all of this because his game doesn't fit well with what they want to do because he's so ball dominant, and I believe it sounds crazy. He's a black hole on the offense, like the possession stops there. So I believe that, and then the Kings' defense has also gotten worse, which they were already bad. The only point of attack defender they have on the roster is Keon Ellis, and then they don't have any interior defense. Now, this was a concern while Fox was there, but there's nothing new about that. So if the Kings are still serious about winning, they got to make a couple more moves to give them a boost. But if they decide to let this season play out, which I think they will, they'll have plenty of flexibility heading into the offseason because LaVine is on a $43 million expiring deal. They also have 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks that they got in the deal, and they're under the first apron of the salary cap. So they got some room, they got some wiggle room. After a breakout year in 2023, I thought Sacramento had the nucleus to become a perennial playoff team for years to come. The Fox and Sabonis duo seemed to work until it didn't. Now, I don't know who's to blame for their downfall, but in the loaded Western Conference, if teams don't make a move, they'll get passed up, and that's what's happened in Sacramento. So in a matter of 2 years, Sacramento is already on the clock to regroup after shipping off one of their franchise cornerstone pieces. There could be many more stars on the move by this trade deadline this Thursday and one of the most dramatic times in the NBA calendar. And we'll have it covered right here on Sports Corner.
Right, Eli, thank you so much. Well, we're getting closer to March, believe it or not, and that means college basketball is heating up. We'll give you all the action from this past weekend when we go campus to campus.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it!
Yeah. You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Well, welcome back. The #1 team in the nation in men's college hoops, the Auburn Tigers, took a trip to a hostile environment in Oxford, Mississippi against the Rebels of Ole Miss. Here are the highlights because, folks, this is a good one. We got Bruce Pearl, the head coach of the Tigers, trying to lead his team to the Final Four for the first time since 2019. Second half, Auburn up 6. Trying to get something going on the inside. They'll do it with Denver Jones, and they'll lob it to Dylan Cardwell. Auburn now goes in front by 8. Later in the half, 3-point game. Johnny Broome trying to back down on his defender. He'll try a tough shot, it's no good. Offensive board, however, goes to Cardwell. And what y'all know about Chad Baker-Mazara from deep? Auburn's up 6, just over 2 minutes left. For the Rebs, this is Sean Padula. Hey, and one! He'll make his free throw. Under a minute to go now, 86-79 Auburn. Good defense from board, outlet pass to Broome, who's in his own state. That'll do it. 92-82, Auburn wins the basketball game, their 13th win in a row. That winning streak is the second longest in Division I college basketball.
Good evening, Portage County. My name is Maddox Miller, and March Madness is only a month away, so let's see who's helping out their case to get into the big dance, starting with a heated rivalry in Duke versus North Carolina. UNC trying to pull off a massive upset against the 2-ranked Blue Devils, but Con Knipple would find Cooper Flagg near the corner, who would splash the 3 to go up 5-2. Staying in the first, Flagg would get a steal up 10-6 and would find Sion James Tyrese Proctor for the slam. It would be Knipple working around and getting a tough left-handed lay up 36-13. Tar Heel fans look away. It's a blowout, and Cooper Flagg is only going to add to it with a buzzer beater fadeaway, 47-25 at half. It would be Knipple working on the inside and touching it off the glass, 57-34. Knipple would finish with 22 on the game, but Cooper Flagg, who would finish with 21, would hit a top-of-the-key 3. Duke takes this one 87-70. Liv, what is going on in the SEC, and who's that coming down the track?
Well, it's the Mean Machine in the red and black. Not quite. Alabama coming in hot on a 4-game win streak, but keep your eyes on that man. Aiden Sherrell, he steps outside the arc and drains the triple. Grant Nelson gets the rock, he tosses it, and Sherrell throws the hammer down. You know, he only had 12 points, but he made some big plays. Aiden Holloway soaring down the court, passes to Mark Sears, and his 3 is money. The Crimson Tide superstar finished with 20. It wasn't all Bama, though. Tyron Lawrence nets a 3, and Georgia ends the first half in single digits. To the second we go. Sears pitches it to Nelson, and he's got a nasty setup, but he gets the tray all the same. This is the last Georgia clip, so savor it, Bulldogs fans. Asa Newell with a turnaround jumper. He finished with 16 points. The Crimson Tide turns on the gas, and they do not stop. Sears for 3. That's a beauty, and it has the Bama faithful on their feet. This is my play of the game. Holloway drives to the baseline and finishes with a reverse layup. Spectacular. Excellence. Give me 5 more of them. Bama wins it 90-69.
Alabama is not just a football school, folks. Indiana at number 10 Purdue, a battle in the Hoosier State in West Lafayette. We'll pick this one up with early in the first half. The Hoosiers are going to come up with the steal, and how about Mackenzie Mbako? You spin my head right around. Highlight play from last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. A few minutes later for Purdue, Braden Smith. A tough contested layup is good. Boilermakers up 2. Later in the half, Hoosiers up 7, but Smith is down low. Nice fadeaway to cut within the lead. It's 41-37 Indiana at the break. Start of the second half, Trey Kaufman-Wren and 1. It circles home. He'll make the free throw. It's 41-40. A few minutes later, Smith, another nice play on the highlight, 48-42. He had 24. Less than 3 minutes to go. How about a huge 3 from Mbako? 25 points for him. Gives the Hoosiers the lead. The seconds ticking away. Trey Kaufman-Wren looking like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with that hook shot. Take another look. A nice spin move to create the space, and the Boilermakers survive against their arch rival by the final of 81-76.
You've got some pipes there, Maddie. That was impressive.
Appreciate
it. The new AP Top 25 poll came out today. What were some things that caught your eye, Maddox?
Well, first of all, the first thing that caught my eye was Iowa State, a perennial Big 12 kind of powerhouse in basketball. They make March Madness all the time. They dropped down 5 spots from 3 to 8. They've lost 2 conference games in a row. It's left the Big 12 wide open to teams like Houston, to teams like Kansas. Makes things a lot tougher for Iowa State. They're going to get in the dance regardless, but going from 2 losses to 4 losses on the season is it's a big drop off. But on the positive side, we have Texas Tech, made the national championship a few years ago. They're up 9 spots, and they're on a 6-game winning streak after taking down number 5 Houston. It's an impressive performance by the Red Raiders, and if they can keep this momentum going, they could carry it into the conference tournaments, and then they could carry into March Madness, and then as we know, March Madness is anyone's game. Whoever has the momentum going in will most likely go far, and if Texas Tech continues to win games and stack up these wins, they can, I don't want to say run the table, but they could be a Sweet 16 type or an Elite 8 type team.
Yeah, and are there any teams that have disappointed you this college basketball season, Maddox?
Massively. And it's one team.
It's one team.
Just one team.
It's one team, and it's the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes, because you come in with Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, 2 potential lottery picks, and instead of competing in the Big 10, you are 11-11. You're playing 500 ball with 2 of the top freshmen, 2 of the top players, prospects in college basketball. They are averaging 20.2 and 18.6, so it's not all on them. I will say that, but they're 13th in the Big 10, and they were ranked They were ranked 25th heading into the season. So the fact that this Rutgers team, in a Big 10 where yes, Purdue is playing very well and Michigan has been playing better than they have in prior years, it does feel like they should be competing a lot more in this conference, especially with these 2 top talents. But nothing's panned out for them. 500 ball will not get you in the tournament. If they run the Big 10 tournament table and they get into March Madness, then maybe they can make some noise. But Bailey and Harper might be one and dones at Rutgers. So if they lose these 2 top guys, what happens to this program? Do they go, like they're already not playing like a top 5 Big 10 team. They're playing like a bottom Big 10 team. Do they become the worst team in the Big 10? It is very possible, but there's still a couple games left to stack some wins and build momentum before the Big 10 tournament, where hopefully they can pull off some crazy upsets.
Yeah.
Well, there's always magic in March.
Yes.
Now, there are 2 undefeated teams. They are ranked 1 and 2 respectively, Auburn and Duke. Do you see those 2 winning their conferences?
Yeah, so both undefeated in conference play. Yes. Auburn with 1 loss, Duke with 2 losses. Oddly enough, though, I'm going to say Auburn will be the one that drops conference games, and I think they could drop multiple. They play 6 ranked games in the SEC, 2 of them being number 3 Alabama, who we just watched dominate Georgia. Meanwhile, Duke is running the ACC. There are no other ranked teams in the ACC. They play 1 top 25 game in 15-7 Illinois. So, and they have Cooper Flagg, who's one of the best players in the country. I see Duke dominating their way to an ACC championship and dominating their way into March Madness, where hopefully they can kind of put some doubters to rest, because Duke in the past has capped out at maybe an Elite 8 performance when Zion was there. So hopefully this is a Duke team that can, or at least for Duke fans, hopefully it's a Duke team that can finally get to a national championship now that Coach K's been retired for a few years now.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to watch, especially that basketball Iron Bowl. Are you kidding? 2 and 3, Auburn, Alabama? Wow.
It'll be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they also, I lost his name, Johnny Broom, 18.3, 11.2, 52% field goal. It'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Thanks, Maddox.
It's set to be a good one. A barn burner took place up in Vancouver between the Canucks and the Red Wings. We'll tell you who took the exciting showdown.
also spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, two teams that are on the edge of the playoff picture in the NHL collided north of the border in a showdown that ended up going to overtime. Let's take you out to Vancouver as the Canucks will host the Red Wings. 4 minutes into the game, Drew O'Connor puts it in the back of the net. It's 1-0 Canucks. 2 minutes later, however, Detroit looking to respond, and respond they will thanks to Alex DeBrincat with the goal. We'll hear more from him later. 1-1 game through one. Second period. Red Wings on offense. Ben Sherratt puts it in. 2-1 Red Wings through two. Will Vancouver come back and respond? And that answer is yes, they will. Philip Heatle puts it in. 2-2 our score. That game will go to overtime, and we will fast forward all the way. This is an exciting one. Less than a minute to go in the extra period. Red Wings on the attack, and DeBrincat will ice it. Red Wings win 3-2. That's their 6th win in a row. They stay strong in that first wildcard spot, and they are 14-3-1 since Todd McClellan took over the head coaching spot on December 26th.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Michael Neenan, and as Wayne Gretzky once never said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so I say we shoot a look at some NHL action as Sportscorner goes on ice. Of course, we start things off with the Las Vegas Golden Knights taking on New York Rangers at MSG. It's not just the mecca of basketball, people. Jack Eichel, oh, look at this, getting right past Jonathan Quick for the goal in the first period to kick off scoring. Jack Eichel, he's actually having one of the best seasons of his career. He's on pace to put up over 100 points. The first time he would ever do that. He didn't have just one goal, though. Look at that absolute beauty in the second period with about 11 minutes into the game. Though Rangers would try to answer back, though, with about 9 minutes into the second. Oh, look at that. Mika Zibanejad off the rebound from the JT Miller shot. They just got him. Look at that. Oh, interference from his own teammates, too. And JT Miller once again. Keandre Miller with the goal from the left wing right off there. And towards the end of the game in the third period on a power play, oh, none other than the breadman, Artemi Panarin, going top shelf to put the Rangers up 4-3, and that would be all she did it from Madison Square Garden.
All right, the St. Louis Blues entering this game on a bit of a skid. Let's see if they can right the ship. They start strong with a goal to end the first period from Alexander Texier. Take a look at the replay. Radek Faksa just swipes it to Texier, who threads it through the 5-hole. Blues lead it 1-0, and don't blink or you will miss this goal. Fresh off a face-off, Michael Kesselring with a slap shot goal. Now, Nick Bjugstad does a great job at getting the puck out to Kesselring, and Jordan Binnington, he didn't even see that one coming, and that is the rookie's 6th goal of this season. We are now tied at 1, but not for long. Pavel Buchnevich gets slammed against the boards, but he escapes to assist Jordan Kyrou on a slap shot goal. And ladies and gentlemen, the St. Louis Blues have ended their 4-game losing streak with a 2-1 win. Game MVP has to go to Binnington. He had a crazy stat, a .960 save percentage. Honestly, just an excellent performance for him.
Fun one out there in Salt Lake City. Well, the Hart Trophy is the NHL's league MVP, so we're going to dedicate this next portion of the show to ask what your guys' picks for that trophy are. Michael, we'll start with you.
You know something, before the season started, I picked Nikita Kucherov to win the Hart Trophy. And you know what? I'm going to double down.
Double down.
Really?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Double down.
See, currently Nikita Kucherov is third in points. He's third in assists. You know, that may not seem like Hart Trophy material just yet, but remember, the Lightning actually haven't played that many games. There's a couple postponements. They've only played about 51. Every other team has played around 54. So I do think that his final numbers will look a lot better. I mean, listen, that power play is absolutely disgusting, and it's all because of him. You can thank him for that. That first line with Braden Point, and you know, I just think that Nikita Kucherov is one of those guys who you can always count him in to be a Hart Trophy finalist when healthy. He's always going to have like over 110 points. I really think that he's going to have at least 2 Hart Trophies by the time he retires. But you know, there are a couple good candidates. What do you guys think?
Liv, go ahead.
All right. Well, I know we discussed this, and I looked over at your paper. We have differing opinions on which Edmonton Oiler might take home the crown. I'm going to go with Leon Draisaitl. He has 33 goals. That's the most in the NHL. That's 6 more than the next player. He's second in points. He's on pace for 122, which would be the second most he ever scored in his career. Now, I know as long as Connor McKinnon takes the ice, there's always a chance that he will. Oh, I said the wrong name. That's McKinnon? Yeah, did I say that right?
Liv, the element of surprise
I know, I'm so
has just
sorry.
been wasted here.
I apologize. Anyways, but he's got to lead the
my
Oilers in scoring.
gracious.
As soon as McKinnon starts scoring more than him, his MVP chances go by the wayside. I'm going to finish this discussion if it's the last thing that I do, Matthew. I wrote these points.
Come on.
It's very hard to stand out when you play with someone who's so spectacular, but I truly think that there's always going to be a chance for him, but he has to continually lead his own team, because once he becomes second fiddle, there's no way.
I got you. Well, I had Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. Here's the thing. There's been a lot of talk about Kirill Kaprizov from the Wild. Of him getting it, that got some legs. He ended up getting hurt in December. And McKinnon kind of tore it on. He had 7 goals and 18 assists in that month. Granted, we're just starting in February. But Colorado, we saw it a couple years ago. That was a team that won the Stanley Cup, 3 years ago. They play really good hockey when it matters most. And I feel like it comes from their leader in Nathan McKinnon. He won this trophy a year ago, and I wish I had more analysis on it to kind of spice it up. I know this is bad television, but I just think he gets the job done, and he'll go back-to-back in the Hart Trophy this year.
We're learning puck, Matt. We're puck newbies, so excuse us, for the
McKinnon, McDavid.
Whoopsie, Mick.
You
know.
see?
Now I have a question
see
for you,
that far,
Michael.
McKinnon?
Yes.
McKinnon, I have a question for you. Do you think there's any chance that a goalie takes home the Hart Trophy this year?
Not a chance.
What?
No, it won't happen.
Cool.
Listen, the age of goaltenders, I think, is it's coming to an end. From like the late 90s to the mid to late 2010s, that's when goalies were at their best. The last goalie to win a Hart Trophy, how am I forgetting his name? You know what? The last person to win a Hart Trophy as a goalie was in 2015. So at the end of the day, the goalie is just not going to win it. They're not an aesthetically pleasing team. An aesthetically pleasing player, I should say. And I also think that, when you get a really good guy who can put up like 150 points, usually that player is going to wind up winning the MVP at the end of the day. The Hart Trophy, it usually goes to a skater, even though objectively speaking, a goalie is going to have more of an impact on the game since, they're the ones stopping the puck from getting into the net. That's no fun. We like to give it to skaters. And at the end of the day, I think that those 2 guys you mentioned are definitely good candidates, but sorry to burst your bubble, Liv. It won't be a goalie.
Consider my bubble burst.
Yeah, we'll see it in springtime. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you as always. Well, I don't know if you guys heard, but in the NFL, there is a big game coming up on Sunday, as I'm sure you all know. Well, here to break it down from a betting standpoint is our own Blake Galoja. Blake, how are we winning on Sunday?
Thank you, Matt. I think we're going to win pretty easily on Sunday. Quick picks, hot takes, and all the action you need to turn the odds in your favor. Welcome to Blake's Best Bets inside this edition of Sports Corner. Now, as Matt mentioned, with the Super Bowl just 6 days away, let's look at my favorite player line for the big game. You might have noticed my homage to Andrew Whitworth with the hoodie blazer combo. That is because my best bet will be won in the trenches. I am taking Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown for my favorite bet of Super Bowl 59. This was the no-sweat bet of Super Bowl 57, with Hurts finding the end zone in the first quarter versus the Chiefs. The tush-push was nerfed a bit this year by the NFL, but Philly is still converting the play at an 82% rate. Even if the Eagles don't get within the 2-yard line, Hurts is still dangerous on the option play, as most of the attention is hoarded by Saquon Barkley. Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship beatdown on the Commanders. He will find it at least once versus KC. Hurts anytime is currently minus 110 odds on DraftKings. Get it while you can, as I predict these odds will worsen as more people bet on him. Now, this was just going to be a Super Bowl betting special, but the breaking news out of the NBA this weekend has made me call an audible. Before the Luka trade, the Lakers were plus 4,000 to win the 2025 NBA Finals and plus 2,500 to win the West, according to DraftKings. Immediately following the news, Los Angeles odds shortened to plus 1,800 to win the NBA title, the 6th best odds in the league. With some tough competition in the East, I was too nervous to take the Lakers to win it all, but I do like their odds for the Western Conference title, which currently sits at plus 950. Listen, I love everything about the Thunder and how they are playing. The thing that scares me is the all too familiar to last season. Last year, OKC was the 2nd youngest team in the league. Shea was playing at an MVP level, finished as the 1 seed in the West, then got bounced by Dallas in the conference semifinals in just 6 games. Now this season, they're the youngest team in the NBA with the least average experience. Shea is still playing terrifically and at top MVP level, and OKC sits comfortably at the top of the West. The young core still scares me, which makes the Lakers to win the West very enticing. Once Luka returns from his calf strains that has sidelined the star since Christmas, the Lakers will be a lot to handle. Handing LeBron Luka must have felt like Christmas morning for the King. I think conditioning concerns will go out the window once the postseason hits. Doncic has been electric in his playoff career, averaging 30 points, 9 boards, and 8 assists through 50 games. The big question for the Lakers will be their interior. The defensive upside obviously goes down a few notches without Anthony Davis, but I believe Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, and Maxi Kleber will do enough to hold down the paint. Give me the Lakers to put it all together and find their way to the NBA Finals. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I put together a 4-leg flyer parlay for Super Bowl 59. My first leg is the Chiefs spread of minus 1.5. After watching the Chiefs figure out different ways to win all season long, I slowly came to the realization everyone but Chiefs fans were afraid of. Patrick Mahomes and KC will be the first to three-peat in the Super Bowl era. Besides the fact they have Mahomes at the helm, a big reason I like the Chiefs is how stout of a run defense they boast. Kansas City has allowed only 3.8 yards per carry, 3rd best in the NFL. The Chiefs have also proven they can stop elite rushers, which will be much needed against Saquon Barkley, who's been playing out of his mind in these playoffs. This game screams to be decided by 1 possession, so I will go with the team that's proven time and time again no one else is better in clutch time. My second leg is Dallas Goedert to have at least 5 catches. Goedert is coming off a 7-catch, 85-yard game against the Commanders. The Chiefs' defense also allows over 70 yards per game to tight ends this season, most in the league. I'm targeting A.J. Brown to have 70-plus receiving yards for my third leg. This one is purely based on the numbers. Brown averages just over 4 yards per route run against man coverage. That is ranked number 1 in the NFL among eligible receivers. The Chiefs run man coverage on nearly 35% of plays, which is top 10 frequency in the league. Coming off a 96-yard game, Brown should be in line to go big again on Sunday. My final leg focuses on the halfback out of the University of Toledo. Kareem Hunt has dominated the Chiefs' backfield touches in the postseason. In weeks 13 through 17, Hunt had just 46% of the Chiefs' carries, but in the playoffs, he's accounting for 71% of their rush attempts. Hunt has found the end zone in 4 straight games. His line for anytime touchdown is plus 140, which I like by itself, but adding it to the parlay boosts the odds very nicely. All 4 picks combined will give you plus 900 odds on DraftKings, meaning $10 could win you 90. That wraps up Blake's best bets for this week. Always remember to gamble responsibly, never chase your losses, and enjoy the games. I've been Blake Galoja, back to live at the desk.
Thank you, Blake. Coming up is everyone's favorite segment, Empowerment, as I highlight a new rugby league and Crawley chaos to get ready for things to get chaotic in Cleveland and Columbus.
morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class, today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Welcome back to Sports Corner. It's time for our award-winning segments, starting with empowerment. We're talking some women's rugby tonight. The Women's Elite Rugby League announced their teams last week, and they have some of the coolest logos I have ever seen. But first, what is Women's Elite Rugby? Well, it's a professional women's rugby league focused on creating a pipeline for young players to go pro and for all players to have fair compensation for their incredible work. Think unrivaled, but for rugby. The WER wants to create a strong presence before the LA Olympics in 2028, and especially with the rise in rugby interest following the 2024 Paris Olympics. So, if you love Alona Mar and seeing the women of New Zealand take home gold, then this is for you. There will be 6 inaugural teams: the Chicago Tempest, the Bay Breakers, the Boston Banshees, the Denver Onyx, the New York Exiles, and the Twin City Geminis. We don't have a schedule or any info on broadcasting yet, but follow @RugbyEvolved on all platforms to get more info. The best is yet to come.
Let's get chaotic, shall we? And the big headline is movement. Earlier today, Myles Garrett announced he is requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns, and we talked about the Luka for AD trade earlier in the show, but there was a lot more that went down, especially if you root for the local teams here in Northeast Ohio. In baseball, Guardians starter Carlos Carrasco got dealt to the New York Yankees on a minor league deal earlier this afternoon. The 2019 American League Comeback Player of the Year will head east to play for the defending AL champs. And in Major League Soccer, Columbus Crew forward Cucho Hernandez was transferred to Real Betis of La Liga. The Colombian native finished second in the league's MVP voting last year behind Lionel Messi and scored a penalty kick in the 2023 MLS Cup to give Columbus their 3rd title. This past weekend was hard to believe, crazy and shocking, but most of all, it was chaotic. That's why player movement in seemingly all sports is the first spotlight of Corelli Chaos of the new season. And we'll have our first All-Pro Hell No of the new season.
We're bringing it back, baby.
Yes, we are. So, do the honors. Start us off.
All right, All-Pro Hell No. Does Myles Garrett get traded from the Cleveland Browns?
Hell no.
Oh!
I don't doubt Adam Schefter of ESPN. That's pretty legit stuff. And I think that no matter what, if they're willing to, if he's going to sit, if not, or if he will play, he's going to be on the roster. He's going to be on the roster. So we have that to look forward to. I guess if you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, no matter what or how he plays in 2025. How about you?
I'm going to go with hell no as well, but from a different perspective. I was doing some reading, and the Browns would take on $36 million in dead cap if they traded Myles Garrett. And they're already in the cap depths of the ether, so I don't think they'll want to take that on. I don't know if maybe he's using this to, bolster some trade negotiations or get a better contract, but we've seen this happen before with Cleveland players as recently as David Njoku. He wanted to trade, and look where he is. He's hopefully going to get an extension sometime this offseason. But what I am very concerned about is there was a line in Garrett's letter that directly took a shot at Andrew Berry. Berry said last week the plan is for Garrett to go from Cleveland to Canton. Well, Garrett said in his letter today that was never his plan. His plan was to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know what kind of negotiations are going on, but it definitely signifies there's a decent rift between Garrett and the front office that I think is concerning regardless of whether or not he signs with Cleveland.
Yeah. So going on to the other thing, let's go to the NBA now.
Yeah.
All pro hell no. The Boston Celtics, who have knocked out the Cavaliers last year in the playoffs, they're going to do the same thing again in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2025.
The Celtics are beating the Cavs? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're the reigning champs. I would say never, ever count them out. I mean, the Celtics have been Cleveland's Achilles heel thus far, and they don't seem to be showing any sign of slowing down. They've had I don't even want to say lackluster season, because by all standards, the Celtics have had a spectacular season. Not by Celtics standards, but by any other team, they would trade anything to have the Celtics record. And Jason Tatum is always going to be spectacular. He's a guy that you can never count out. And honestly, this is going to sound horrible, and I'm sure this will be clipped and played to mortify me for the rest of the semester, but I think the Cavs are going to have a fall-off after the All-Star break.
Really?
I will
after
say
the All-Star break?
I know the Cavs have traditionally benefited well from that sort of break, but I just don't know how it can be consistent. Maybe I'm just a pessimist and I expect everything in Cleveland to just fall apart and be horrible, because let's face it, everything does fall apart and everything is horrible in Cleveland. But I think the Cavs are going to fall off. They just have a lot of depth, and I don't think you can ever count out Boston.
And you made some great points. You know, the Celtics are experiencing, they won the finals a season ago. They seem sound, they play their best basketball, and I totally get it. So with all that being said, hell no. Where's the camera? Hell no. It keeps changing. Hell no. The Cavs are going to take it, and they're going to go to the NBA Finals, because this is a different ball club. Even though they got the same players, it just feels as though with Kenny Atkinson at the helm, they're going to get it done. They're going to get it done.
Okay.
And that will do it for this edition of Sportscorner to kick off our season. We thank you all so much for watching.
For updates from us 24/7, head over to KentWire.com and be sure to tune into Overtime right here every Friday at 7 p.m. I'm Liv Sharp.
And I'm Matt Corrali, saying wherever the ball flies in the air, the Kent Stater Sports Network will be there. Good night.
Good night.
We know you work hard, so come spend your lunch with us at the Bistro on Main. Make your breaks count at the Bistro on Main, where friends become family.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high.
Oh.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.